Today we're going to be learning about inputs and outputs, or functions of x. Functions of x can be abbreviated by f of x right here. So let's get on. How do you find or solve the input of f of x problems? So f of x stands for function of x, as we already went over. F of x can be replaced by y equals. So f of x, you can also read it as y equals. It will be easier if you learned it previously like that. So if you do an equation such as f of x equals 4 to the second power plus 2, you can read it as y equals 4 to the second power plus 2. For some questions, you might be asked to get the input, which is always going to be the x if you find that. And other times they'll ask you to find the output, and the output will always be y. So let's get on with it. Input's a function in x. So our first equation is going to be f of x equals the square root of x to the second plus 4. So this right here, the square root, then the second power, that is basically just the square root. So you don't really have to do any math for this little 2 right there. In order to find f of x, we already know what the input is since it gives it to us. So we're just going to try to find the output right here. The way to do that is we are going to replace f of x right here. We are going to replace that with with f of 9 equals the square root of 9 plus 4. So the way we are going to do that is going to be, we're going to skip this part since that's always going to be the same. The square root of 9 equals 3. So basically it's just going to be 3 plus 4. That equals 7. So your f of x right here, that is going to equal 7. Let's do another one. Keep in mind that this is only the input and the output will be later, which is a bit trickier. So f of x equals 5 plus x squared. We know the input is 7, so we just have to find the output right here again. So f of x, we're going to replace that with f of 7 equals 5 plus x, or you can replace it with 7 to the second. So 7 to the second would be 49, and you are adding 5 right here. 49 plus 5 equals 54. So your f of 7, or f of x, as I should say, would equal 54. Let's try one last more for input. So f of x equals x to the 4th power. So we know the input is going to be 3, so let's replace that. So it's going to be f of 3 equals 3 to the 4th. So 3 to the 4th, like that. 3 times 3, 9, 27 times 3, that will equal 81. So once again, your f of x equals 81 right here. Now, output a function of x. F of x right here, we do not know the input. Now, we just only know the output, and that is our only clue as to how to find the input of this. So, let's try this out. So we know the output is 99. So we can just replace f of x right here with 99, since we know f of x equals that. So we can replace this. 99 equals x squared minus 1. So you can add this one right over here. You can add that to 99, and that will make the equation 100 equals x squared. So now we just have to try to figure out what to the second power equals 100. So we know that 10 times 10 equals 100. But we also know that 2 negatives equals a positive, so we can do negative 10 times negative 10, and it will also equal 100. So our input that we are trying to find would either be 10 or negative 10. Now onto our second output problem. So right here we know that f of x is equal to 5, so let's just replace that real quick. So it's going to be 5 equals 5 plus x squared. So now we can add 5 to this one again, like we did previously, and that will be 10 equals x squared. So now we try to figure out once again what to the second power will equal 10. So we know 3 times 3 equals 9, and that's a close second. So we do know for sure 3 times 3 equals 9. That is one number away. So we know that this answer would have to be a decimal. It can range from 3.5 times 3.5, anything as long as it gets nearly to the answer of 10. This one will not have a precise answer, but it will be very, very close. This will be our last output slide. So we know right here f of x equals 2, and we do not know our input once again. So we will replace 2 with f of x right here. So that would equal 2 equals x plus 6, the absolute value of x plus 6, minus 2. So now we will be trying to figure out what number exactly can be added plus 6 to get that absolute value that we will then subtract by 2 in order to get to. So let's just start out by the fact that anything minus 2, so let's say x, just real quick, sorry about that, x minus 2. So what do we know that has to equal 2 right there? We know that 4 minus 2 would equal 2. So now we are going to try to get the absolute value of x plus 6 to equal 4, since we know 4 minus 2 is going to equal 2, which is what we want. So let's get started with this. So we are going to do x plus 6 right here, that's the absolute value. So what plus 6 can equal 4? We know that negative 2 plus 6 would equal 4. So let's try that. So negative 2 plus 6, that equals 4. Then we want to subtract that by 2, and that equals 2. So we have now found our x right here, and that would equal 4, because when we replaced x with 4, we did the absolute value, we subtracted it by 2, and we got 2, which is the correct answer. These two examples, models with mathematics and logic and reasoning, are the two math standards I chose for this problem.